Fucking adjust it for it, right? Wow. Oh, that's it. Get this on the way. Hopefully this setup is better for you guys. Not seeing me at some stupid angle where my head looks like a Martian's head or something. Not bothering with the fancy audio either today. Just because I forgot to phone my charge. Let's charge my phone again. So I can only either have it plugged into charge or the audio plugged in. So actually, no, you can charge it whilst the audio is on. What am I talking about? Wah, 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 wah. It's charging, yes. So there we go. Right, I'll be checking the chat in just a sec. Just gotta get the laptop fired up. Because YouTube, if you want to stream directly to YouTube, is absolute garbage. I can see now why people use things like StreamYard. It's horseshit. Because the functionality is terrible. Like, first of all, you try to upload a thumbnail, and you have to do it like 3 times before it actually saves. And then you can use other functions of YouTube. But like, if I wanted to look at anything else on YouTube, you can go back out of it and it'll save it. But then other times you try and go out of it, and you can only do it if you abandon the stream. So basically all the information I'd planned and scheduled, and the link for the scheduled stream at 5 o'clock, I lost it all. So anybody who's following that link will get nowhere. So there we go, such is life. So remind me next time I decide to stream direct to YouTube, not to do it on YouTube, because it's fucking garbage, a piece of garbage when it comes to streaming. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, so the thumbnail is showing just like a blue block thing, which is great for getting people to come in and watch. So I'm not too confident with getting many subscriptions during this stream for that reason, unfortunately. But there we go. £100 sign. Okay, and then £100. Wow. I'm not sure what the reference is and the amount of money. Are you telling us how much money you got in your bank? Or how much money you lost on gambling today? Some context would be great. What's up, Cool Hank? Glad to see you, my guy. Suburban Stuntman, nice to see you too, mate. Thanks for popping on back. We're supposed to be having Whittaky on board as well today, but not sure what he's up to. I had to resend him the link because the original one can't decide to delete itself off YouTube. So if you guys saw the link in Instagram or wherever else I shared it, it would be a completely different one to this one. So YouTube, garbage. But yeah, so but Sammy Najed, I'm not going to try and destroy your name, but Sammy, thanks for tuning in. Love to know what you're doing with your £100. And I'm just going to keep a track. So when we came on live today, we had 330 subs, which is, let's have a look, 6 more than yesterday. So we've had 6 subs. So day 4 is ready to go once we finished. So far we're going to be adding 4 parts, but I'll wait till the end of the stream as normal to see if we have any extra subs. If not, I'll be adding 4 parts, pardon me, to the set. But yeah, if you're joining us, for the first time, you don't know what's going on here, we are doing a live stream every day. And I say me on this channel, but obviously there are other people who work on the channel with me. I'm doing a live stream every single day until we hit 1K subs. That could be a 10-minute live stream, a 5-minute live stream, a 1-minute live stream, but generally at the moment for the next week or so is going to be about an hour a day. The time is to be confirmed, so just to keep everybody on their toes, but generally I'm going to try and aim for about this time, or I may do late at night about 10, 11 o'clock. So it'll vary between those 2 times, but I might also do normal streams as well in that time. Those won't be direct to YouTube, but we do a stream every Sunday anyway, so I might do that as part of this. Either way, this channel will be doing a stream every single day until we hit 1K subs. And yeah, so if you're watching for the first time, please give us a sub right now. Go and do that right now. You don't need to leave the stream to do that. Just kind of minimize us or click on my icon, which is usually down in the bottom somewhere, and it'll take you to the main page. It'll make me smaller in the corner and you can press the subscribe button. Please do that, because the more subs we get, the more parts I can make of the set. I'm sorry if you've seen the thumbnail for this one. The thumbnail is blank because basically YouTube decided to be an asshole and delete all the information I prepped for this stream. And Witticky, if you're watching by any chance, I sent you a new link because the original link didn't work, because it deleted the entire stream. So every piece of work I did today for that was for nothing. I can add it on afterwards, after the stream, to make it look like the same as the others, but anybody scrolling across will just see me live rather than a thumbnail, so that's a bit annoying. But yes, so we're building the home one, 7754 Calamari Starcruiser Star Wars Lego set. It's got 700 odd pieces, 780 odd pieces, depending on where you look at it. Bricklink part count and Lego official website part count is completely different, but it's around about 800 pieces. And for every 1 sub, we'll be adding 1 part to that set so that eventually it gets built. And if we get to 1,000 subs and we haven't finished building it, then the final build, the 1K celebration, will be me building that stream. And I'll also make it fun some other way. Maybe I'll bust out another. I'm thinking of maybe the Ghost set. I've got a Ghost set from last year. I'll build that live on stream as a 1K sub celebration. But yeah, so that's what you guys should expect to see. Trying to get it on won't let me use the laptop, and the YouTube link you sent on WhatsApp isn't working. Yeah, so you asked me to send it on Instagram with the which I did, but it's the second one. So basically what happened is when you set up a live on YouTube, it's not like StreamYard where you can organize it and plan it. YouTube doesn't really have any of those kind of functions. Their functions are very basic, like, you know, when YouTube was first invented. I don't think it's changed since then. So it's a little bit kind of Stone Age. But the problem with it is that if you want to kind of navigate around YouTube, the buttons to like sort of keep it saved and move appear underneath the buttons that are on your phone screen, so you can't actually press them, and there's a thin sliver you got to try and press, and if you press the wrong one, basically you lose all your information. So yeah, so basically what happened is everything that I'd scheduled for today's stream disappeared, so I had to reset it up quickly as we were about to go live. So I got a new link and I've sent that to you, so it's on Instagram as you asked. Papa Rex is in the house. How are you doing, Papa Rex? I know you're already subbed, so I won't kind of push you for one, but yeah, I'm enjoying a cup of tea. I got a banana and I got some snacks. Those of you who've been tuning in every day will know that I'm currently recovering from a lung problem, which unfortunately led to me getting a very severe cold and flu. obviously the cold flu symptoms aren't enough for me to be off work because it's just cold flu symptoms. You know, you take tablets, you get over it. But unfortunately, because I'm susceptible at the moment, the cold flu kind of progressed and was a lot heavier and just started having other effects on my body. And obviously, in the past, this has seen me in hospital, so I have to be very careful what I do, not exert myself. I just need my lungs to fully prepare. So I had a week off work. I've been signed off for another week. Pretty much the only thing I can do comfortably. I mean, even if I walk upstairs, I get out of breath. If I sleep on my left side, I get out of breath because it's the one lung in particular. But generally, the main issue is you know, I can sit here and I can talk because there's not having any real effect on my lungs or causing me any issue. I've gotten over most of the cold and flu symptoms now. My voice has come back as of sort of today, fully. But yeah, so anybody watching, I had a conversation earlier with someone about how, like, are you allowed to stream when you're supposed to be on the sick? And I'm like, well, yeah, because my job, if my job was just sitting here and talking, then I'd be back in work. But unfortunately, it isn't. It's a physically challenging job, and obviously I'm not able to do that at the moment. I mean, I answered the door to a guy earlier on about window cleaning, and I was only out on the doorstep for like a minute, and just the cold air from outside had me coughing up a storm. So I just really delicate lungs at the moment, unfortunately, until I build them back up. So Suburban Stuntman is saying yo to Papa Rex, which I'd like to see. I'll try and get Instagram on my phone, then hopefully pop on. Right. So if you want me to send the link to your WhatsApp, the new link to your WhatsApp, I can now do that. Again, because I'm using YouTube Direct, it's Stone Age. So you're not actually, if I was to try and leave this to go and send you a link, I would lose it and the live stream would die. So this is the joys, and this is why I haven't been staying on for particularly long on these YouTube shorts, because basically they're a bunch of shite. You can't do anything fun on them. Oh, there he goes. Wakely with 42 subscribers, hot on my heels, is requesting to join. So I'll say no to that. Or will I? Here he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, do I sound alright? Because it's obviously on the phone. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it does sound a bit weird to me, but it's not me I got to worry about, it's the audience. And also, let me connect up my headphones so I can hear you a bit better. Oh, wait a sec. It might actually be because my volume's down. I'm not usually expecting to hear anything.
Well,
Yeah,
audience,
let's put my headphones in.
Audience, let me know if you can hear me clearly. You might not see me clearly. It's a bit dark, but I can't help that.
You talking to me?
No, the audience. The
Oh,
chat.
okay. Let me just put my headphones on a sec.
Hello.
All right. Now say something.
Hello. How is everybody today?
Marvelous. That's better. I can actually hear you now. Woo. All right.
Just get out of the way. Thank you for letting me join. And hello, Paddy.
Paddy's out there. How are you doing, Paddy? Sarah. Nice to see you on one of these ones. And Kenneth. Kenneth is back in the house as well. So let's get some Lego on the. Let's get some Lego on the screen. But how was that? Oh. For people joining and wondering what the hell's going on.
Hey.
So this is the set, as you guys can see. So I'll have that there, present and correct. So just to fill you in on what we're doing here, because it's not the normal show, so we're not doing all this hello, call out a chat, all that bollocks. You just read the comments as they come up.
Yeah.
And just talk about what we're doing. So we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I just thought to myself, what better way to do it while I'm off work, and pretty much the only thing I can do comfortably is sit and talk. I mean, it helps me as well because it means I get to socialize, because I work in a job where I'm quite sociable and speaking to people. And then when you go from that to sitting at home looking at the wall all day, I mean, there's only so much telly and social media you can consume before you're like, I need to have a conversation with someone. So I just thought, here we go. Although it's kind of one-sided, it gives me a chance to kind of not forget what society feels and sounds like.
But we've been kind of staggering our way through, and unlike most usual YouTube channels where everybody kind of either they've had a channel since before YouTube Shorts exists, where they've had that kind of initial boost, or they've had a channel for a longer period of time, or whatever it might be, or they do a combination of shorts. There's not many YouTube channels out there like ours where all we do is long form content. And the great thing about long form content, it's great for getting you some good viewing hours and viewing time and all the rest of it, and creating a small niche community. That's great for all of that. But in terms of growing your channel, it's very stagnant for things like that, because it's never going to recommend your channel to new audiences, because new audiences primarily are looking for short form data. Now, if you're doing a live direct to YouTube like we're doing now, then it appears as a short when people are scrolling. So therefore, a new audience is getting recommended it. And also the algorithm can pick up a little bit easier on what your content's supposed to be, i.e. what the hell you're talking about Lego. Whereas with our regular show, because we talk about all sorts of bits and pieces, it's very difficult for the algorithm to pick up on what the hell it is we're offering. What are you? What do people want to see? So yeah, so I just thought, look, I don't want to do just a bang out a bunch of shorts. It's not really my forte. I will be able to do a few more because I'm off work, but why not just do a live stream, which is where I'm probably more comfortable. I've got the time to do it. Already got a little bit of an audience there, but want to grow it. And this is where we find ourselves. So this set I've wanted to build for ages. It's probably one of the sets I've owned the longest that is still complete and never been built by me. It's a great set. It's a quite a rare set. It wasn't widely released. I think it was only like in stores for like a year, I want to say. It wasn't, it retired very, very soon. It was part of the 10th anniversary of Star Wars Lego. And it had a fantastic array of figures, which included 6 figures, 5 of which were exclusive and only ever released in this set. And those versions of those figures have never been released since, even in a newer version, i.e. Mon Mothma and General Crix Madine and things like that. So so I was quite pleased with this set. Never got a chance to build it. Thought, you know what, let's make a competition out of it. Let's do one part for every sub and see how far we get. And this is where we find ourselves. So I'm like, again, I'm just going to keep appealing constantly throughout this. If you're finding this now, if you're watching this now, because there's more people watching than there is commenting, which is always the case. We had 14 people yesterday watching at one point. Sorry, 16 people watching, but only 2 people commenting. So there was 14 people watching, like, and not interacting. So I know that some of those people might not be able to comment, because another thing Shorts does is it appeals to a wider audience, i.e. people from all around the world and younger children. So we'll recommend it to them and they'll show in their feed. However, those people won't be allowed to necessarily comment or can comment because of the language barrier, but they can subscribe. So go and join. Go and find the icon on the screen. I think it's in this corner. Click on it. You won't lose us. It'll make us smaller. Go and subscribe. And of course, the quicker we get these subscriptions up, the quicker I can complete this set, and the quicker I have to stop doing live streams every day. As much as I'd love to do it, at the current rate, I think it works out. We've got to do it. If we continue getting subs as long as in the same rate as we've been getting them so far, I think I worked out that I have to do this for 70 days. So, and I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. So that's my spiel out of the way. I'll do it a few times throughout, because obviously it's a short stream and it's only about one thing, which is increasing the channel subscribers. So until then, Whittaky, how are you?
Yeah, okay. Obviously, you know other things, but yeah, basically okay. Well, come on here, cheer me up. Yeah. But yeah, I've been banging out shorts, mate, but I've only got 42 subscribers, so I don't think it works.
Yeah, well, it takes a while. That's why, because it's got to learn what you're doing. So, like, yeah. I've banged out since I've been off this week. I've banged out, I think, about 7 or 8 shorts, and the first couple didn't do add anything, and the last 2 have been more consistent. They've been 1.3. Okay, so it's got to build a pattern. Yeah. I'm not saying you've got to do shorts
weird as well, because I meant some people saying, "Oh, try and get out at the same time and all that lot." I've tried all of that, and it's like a yo-yo. One short you'll put on, and you'll get like, I don't know, 406 views. Next one you'll get over 1,000 views. Next one you'll get under 92 views. Next one you get like 900 and something. It's just all over the place.
Well,
And it's all
yeah.
Legos.
So
Anything
when
different.
you say you've tried that though, have you tried doing a short every Tuesday for 6 weeks?
Not for 6 weeks now.
So when I say consistency, I don't
Yeah.
mean, oh, I did one last week and I did one this week and I'm fed up now. It's not working. Consistency means like
Yeah.
a long time.
I mean, I did when I had quite a big views, and I remember the time doing it, and so for the next sort of 3-4 days, I did it exactly the same time every day after that. But it just went up and down all over the place.
But it will be to start with.
Yeah.
It's like kind of trying to push a car to restart it. You know, it's going to be and then eventually you'll get going. But again, you've
So
got to do that.
Ken's put try blackmail. That may speed things up.
Yeah, well, because there's people out there who will do like, oh, a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And I'm
Yeah.
like, two things. First of all, it doesn't connect with that channel. And even that's got two things. So first of all, it's not something that we do. It's not something we've talked about. It's not something that we kind of synonymous for. We've even done the latest charity thing, and we didn't really talk about like there being prizes. We didn't incentivize it with prizes. I purposely didn't want to do that because I wanted to be about the charity, and it still did fantastic. Obviously, we did have prizes at the end, but I didn't want to make a big show of them. But it's not synonymous with our channel in that we're giving away Lego. We do, whereas there's some channels out there, people like Whatnot Streams and things like that, and even Ken does regular things like that, so it makes sense for his channel. I don't want people to be bought into the channel expecting it to be regular giveaways, because even if I did do one for the 1K subscriber giveaway, I wouldn't be doing it all the time. Do you see what I mean? So I want it to be I don't want to say more organic, because there's nothing wrong with doing that kind of thing, and I understand people want to do it, but I'd rather try work and take longer to do it, and know that I haven't had to, and know those people are there because they want to be here, they want to enjoy the content, rather than because they want a chance to win some Lego, and then potentially down the line they'll be like, when are you giving away another Lego set? You know, I'm only here for that. And that's not really what I want to do. The other reason is because even if I was to do something to incentivize it, I give away some kind of Lego set, which I could quite easily do, I might have to send it to, you know, Japan. And then it could cost me hundreds. I was looking last night at the band figures that were released on ACOB, so quick shout out to them. And it was going to cost me more in postage than it would have for the actual fig. So it was £22 for the fig and like £28 for postage. And it's like, what the hell, for a figure that's this big in a little box this big? I ain't doing it. So I ain't spending like, I ain't giving away, like I can give away a Lego set that I've already got. Let's say, you know, a decent sized Lego set that I'm happy to part with, whatever. It's going to cost me 50, 60 quid potentially to send it, depending on where it goes. And that's like, what for what? Like, that's just, I don't, so it ain't me, and I don't want it to be, you know, like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If it's something you're happy to do regular, or it connects with your show. Ken's show, as an example, is, you know, a lot of what he covers is about buying and selling.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes a bit more hand in hand with that. So
I mean, talking about Ken, he did say, I don't mean giveaways, I mean real blackmail.
oh, sorry, mate. I assumed that's what you were talking about. There's a couple of people have said that to me. They've said, "Oh, it's easy. You just do a giveaway," and I'm just like,
Do you know what I've seen people, you know, and I know Hive's mentioned it, and people are like, oh, if I don't get this or whatever, I'm gonna get rid of my Lego or whatever, and they get loads. I mean, I did that video as a joke about the cat pooing in my in my bed if I don't get any subscribers, and I didn't get any. Luckily, he didn't do it. He didn't poo in the bed.
But that's a perfect example, because doing that isn't enough. You've got to show the, like, if I just said one part for every subscriber and then never done any content, I probably wouldn't have got anything either. So I've got to keep on to it. I've got to show every day. Like in my case, what I'm doing, what I'm giving up, what are you sacrificing for them to come to you, and A, have something entertaining to look at to join in the first place, and B, show that you're showing some commitment towards getting this 1K.
Because
So
I'm
it's
sure
like, you do this for me, I'll do this for you. And in my case, it's adding a piece every day, but also doing a stream every day. If I'd said something like, I'm going to sell my Lego collection, I would be bought into that until he sold his Lego collection. And then I want to see the content of him selling off his sets. We
That's
know
what I
he's
was
not
going
going
to
to do
say.
that.
I'm sure that
Which
they
is
wouldn't,
why
most of them wouldn't get rid of their Lego collection. It's empty promises, but they still get the subscribers. And I think
they do.
Calamari.
But if you look at his figures, and again, when you get past a certain amount, you don't see the numbers going up and down because Instagram and YouTube, they only show 3 figures to the people watching from the outside.
Right.
So you can have 999 followers, but then once you get to 1,000, it'll be 1,001, 1,002, and it'll keep going like that. But once you get past a certain, it'll just be 1 point. Like Padawan's now, for example, he's on 11.7, and every time you see his update, it's 11.7, 11.7, 11.7, and he's getting no subscribers or no followers or trying. But you don't see the change in the smaller numbers because it's past that. So for all you know, people are dropping left, right, and center, and we've had people on the show on Sunday too, in fact, who have said that they've had a huge burst, and then those people have fallen by the wayside because they realized, it was clickbait to some degree. Like, oh, actually. So there's 2 things for that guy. One is that people are going to get to the point and realize he didn't sell a Lego, and that's why they were there, and be like, disappear. But what his task is, and the way he kind of should do it, if he's got a sense about it, is say something like that to get people on board, and then while they're there, entertain them with other stuff, so then they'll either forget about the fact that he was supposed to be selling his Lego, or they'll be entertained enough to stay regardless. That's the way it kind of works. But
the Nimbles in the chat. Nimbles in the chat. Yeah, double bubble. Farting Martins. Just about to pick Nick up.
Love it.
Obviously going
love
somewhere.
To see it. So far we got 6 subs since yesterday, and last I checked, it was 19 in total since I started this. So 19 in 4 days, not bad. I'm going to check it again in a sec. So far, we seem to be having the same people as regular, which is good because I like to see our regular people in here. But of course, it's hard for them to subscribe when they already are.
Yeah, and the Padawan in the chat. Hi, CJ. It's a shame really that I didn't realise I was going to pop on because I would have built, because this morning I actually built that. I built it this morning. It's a shame because I could have built it on stream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice little build. I mean, I think it's what you said. Is it you said like it's quite a big box? You open it up, it's quite it's like oh, big box or just 2 little bags. But yeah.
Well, I know that because when I bagged that set up, it fit in like I put like a sandwich bag in.
Yeah,
and in terms of the size of the parts and how you could condense them down to the box, I think that's got to be one of the biggest percentages in Lego history, because it literally fits in a bag about this big. You could fit like, I don't know, 3 chocolate fingers in there, and you can get all those pieces because they're mostly small pieces, aren't they? There's no large pieces.
It's just 2 speeder bikes, isn't it, really? So and you'd know this. So what year was it? Because it's got to be quite old because it didn't have a QI code on the instructions. So I was like, oh, I was quite surprised. I thought, oh, it's older than what I thought then.
Oh yeah. QR. Well, not all Lego sets have them, even since they've been doing them.
No, but the main sets. But I mean, I know it was after. Was it after? Is it 2019 or 2020? They started putting them on, something like that. So obviously, this is before that. Yeah, you don't get them even on modern sets now. You don't get them on brickheads. You don't obviously get them on GWPs. But you tend to get them on most other sets, even like little battle packs and stuff. So. Oh. But yeah, nice little set. I never thought I'd get that one, really, to be honest. It's a nice set.
It is,
making space for all my speeder bikes because I've got quite a few speeder bikes. I thought I'd put them in a nice row.
Similar to this set, all of the minifigures in there are exclusive to that set, right?
Well, the set I got.
Grab up the box again.
Yeah, I take your word for it. I mean, I don't know.
Princess Rainbow is exclusive. She only came in that set.
I mean, Weasel and
Warwick
Empress Nest.
Davis's character's only in that set. Who else is in there?
Empress Nest. Is she in any other ones?
No.
No. I'm not too sure about Tobias Beckett though. He might be. I don't know.
What version of him is it?
He's got like a brown jacket on.
No. There was 3 versions of him.
To be honest with you, he looks very similar, and I can't think of his name now. The bloke from the figure looks very similar to the bloke from Endor. I can't think of his name.
Endor.
Yeah, the one Andor. Sorry, not Endor. Andor. The oldest. Skarsgård. The figure looks similar because of the hair and stuff like that, so it looks pretty similar.
I might be wrong actually, because the 80 horror had him in as well, I think, and I'm not sure what version of the figure that was.
But yeah, definitely Weasel is. Because that was Warwick Davis, wasn't it? He played.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you could tell the age as well because obviously Empress and Weasel, they've just got black heads. There's no facial prints.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised, to be honest.
No, that wasn't to do with that. That was just because at the time they didn't know what they were going to look like.
Oh, it came out before the film then, yeah? Like I said, I don't know.
Well, even if they came out after, they would have needed to know that way before.
Because obviously Beckett's got his face, obviously, because that would look really weird.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah, thanks for picking up that set for me. I was gutted. I thought I'd lost it.
What's that?
The one I left under the bed. The monster thing.
Yeah, well, first thing I always do, not first thing, last thing I always do when I leave a room is check under the bed, and I saw the monster fire one there, but I had one myself, so I put it by, but I'm not sure.
As you know, don't want to go too much into it, but I was in a bit of a rush and panicking a bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, mate, the taxi was chasing. He was chasing the bus.
When you say chasing, what do you mean?
Well, it was like, it was basically following up bus, kept overtaking.
So you could see, you knew it was your bus.
Yeah, I knew what number it was. Number 73. I still remember now, and it was in front of us.
Was that Brick That Builds from the Brick Wall crew? Specifically the music guy. Oh, Paddy has 4.6k views, but they average 400 for me. I've not made any for ages while I was trying to limit access to my life to a certain person. 4.6 views. Building culture, not gimme clones. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm assuming you're talking about what I was talking about at the time, Suburban Stuntman, and he's been on a couple of times now this week, and a new subscriber to the channel. Hopefully he's going to check out our show on Sunday. But I was just talking about trying to build an organic, real, natural audience as opposed to bots and people like I said, I know people out there, I'm not going to mention a name, but people I speak to quite regularly who've got well over 1,000 subscribers. They do a live stream and they got like no people watching. I popped on a live stream last night. I'm not saying that that's a measure of anything. You know, I'm not trying to sound elitist or anything, but what I'm saying is that I would rather have a smaller amount of subscribers, or the amount of subscribers is a good representation of the people who interact on these chats, because I don't come on here for people just to watch me build, to switch my camera off, or to hear me breathing. And if there's people out there who want to do that, great. But I don't just do that. And I was watching this guy last night, and he even put in his comment, like his comment at the top, I may shout out the chat from time to time. But he was just sat there just building. It was like I was the only person watching. He'd added the comments, but nobody else was there at the time. And it was just, I waited for him to even read my comment out. Not that I cared whether he did or not, but just to see how interactive he was. And I just thought, and he had like 7K. I'm just thinking, so what I'm saying is he might have built that up, but that's not a good that's not an accurate representation of the people who are engaging with him. Just how many subscribers you got, you see what I mean? And it doesn't really mean anything. So I want this to be a slower thing. I want this to be, because I think, banging out a short will get people's attention short term, but really it's about engaging and chatting with people, which we do either on streams like this or we do on the show every week. And if none of those people who have subscribed because they only like the shorts are ever gonna interact there, then it's kind of pointless in being it, and it doesn't mean anything. So I've got 1,000 subscribers and 20 people, 20 viewers, and they're too. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather have 1,000 subscribers and 500 viewers. Do you see what I mean?
I mean, I'm
But
sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's other people out there subscribe to channels, and I've probably not even gone back to them, and I'm still subscribed to them. But
well, yeah, that's the second element. It's not just about getting them in; it's about keeping them in. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? So
every so
Lego
often
does his.
I do go through the things and think, yeah, I don't watch them anymore. Off you go, off the. But quite a lot of times I can be
Yeah,
subscribed to a channel for years and not even, but you still got that subscription, and you still got that number. So
well, that's it.
or she,
So
or yeah,
there's more politics and science behind it than I really care to go into,
yeah.
but
Like Ken just says, subscriber count really is a vanity metric. Yeah.
it is, and it's difficult for me to talk against it while I'm here trying to get it to 1,000 subscribers. But I have made it clear from the very beginning, and like the submarine stuntman quite rightly put it, I'm trying to build a bigger community. Everything I do is to help build community. Yes, obviously it benefits me to have more subscribers or whatever. But it's not like for every subscriber, I get a tenner in my pocket. There's no real financial gain to it. It's just I like to hit targets, but I also want to widen. It's it's crazy how many people I talk to regular who still don't know that we've got a show, and like, oh yeah, I'll tune into that. That sounds right up my street. And I think we've got quite a bit to offer. Something different to what's out there. Is it the first Lego discussion show on YouTube? No. And to be honest with you, I've said this a million times. It's impossible to come up with anything new that someone else hasn't done before. So the whole plagiarism thing, oh, you've copied so and so. It's like, but did I though? I just did something that 3 other million people are doing.
I
So
definitely say we are slightly different, though. There is
but
definitely.
absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Originality's gone down the toilet.
Yeah.
Originality kind of died about 10 years after YouTube existed. It's impossible then, once the world has gotten its hands on something, to come up with a new idea. But what we can do is we can take an idea and make it better, make it our own, or in my case, which I think is the most important thing, make it to suit the audience. And what that looks like is getting them to engage and chat, seeing our faces, getting to know us as people, coming to meet us and become part of a real. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, hey, come and see me at Bricktastic and I'll give you an autograph and I'll be sat behind the table. And, do you know what I mean? None of that bollocks. It's like, if you
No.
want to get to know us, come out and join us at Bricktastic. The amount of people I've spoken to since Bricktastic and said, you've got to come next year. And they're like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to get a ticket. So we can widen that scope, but not of me and my followers walking around Bricktastic. And I think some people have got that kind of view that it's like I'm this kind of celebrity within the brick,
Yeah, I
the
saw a
Lego
bit of
world.
like that the last Brick World. I'm not
I
mentioning
see it.
names, but yeah.
Yeah, I see it all the time, and it is very vain, and it's hard to be in this, be this side of the camera and say that I'm not vain, because there obviously is an element to it. It's just like people who say, "Oh, I'm not on social media for my own personal gain." Hang about, that's bullshit. What people are saying, "Oh no, I don't like the whole look at me, look at me, look at me" thing. Everybody does that, because if you're putting something on social media, nobody, unless you're the type of person who's putting any kind of content out there and you're making it private so only you can see it, which obviously we wouldn't know that person if that was the case, then you're doing it for other people and for people to see it. So there's an element of vanity to every bit of content that everybody
Oh
does.
yeah.
Even if they don't show their face, even if they don't speak on camera, they're still creating like a stop motion or whatever it is of a thing that nobody sees. Maybe they see their hands at most, whatever. But they're still creating something because they want people to look at it, and it's about self gratification, and that's it. There's just elements of that to me, and I'm more than happy to sit hear and say, yeah, it does serve me, and it does serve the channel, and it does serve my co-hosts and the people who work on the channel to gain followers, but also we want to give something back for that. We want to engage with those people, chat with those people, make light of their name, and have them ask us questions, and we answer those questions, not from a point of view of you get to ask the god, but let's have a conversation together. And it's more, embracing, and that's more what I'm looking for rather than a kind of one-sided thing. We do these Cold Fusion streams on the channel, which is link goes out, anybody can join. And as long as you're professional and you're not an ass about it, we don't get trolls on, which obviously we can always boot out. Then it's about people joining the community. We've gotten to know a handful of people who've joined those Cold Fusion streams who were never on those streams, who've never been on before. I'm not going to try and list them now because I can't think any off the top of my head, but and also just the show itself has exposed quite a few people who've never shown their face before, but now have become faces in the community.
I was going to say we've had a few people that's excuse the term, but pop their cherry on our channel. First time to show their face. Yeah,
we counted it at Bricktastic, didn't we? And didn't we get to? I think it was like 10.
Something like that. Yeah,
if I remember rightly. I'm sure there's like 10 people. I mean, that's not me boasting about anything, because there's nothing there to boast about. There's no gain for me there whatsoever, and it's not like I might do one day, but I've never really advertised it as, this person came on our show first. Like, what have I got to gain from that? I think that's good for them. And obviously there's people out there who are happy just to watch. So I'm not trying to say, hey, coming on the show is like the highlight of your life. I'm not trying to say that, but I still think that there's an element of that demonstrates that we want you in the boat with us rather than, watching us sail by. So so that's what I'm looking for. We've got the Cold Fusion streams. We've got that. I try to have engagement on all of my, apart from the posts for this, the thumbnail posts, I try to engage on all of my posts, my short posts and stuff like that, which is a question, answer the question. I know a lot of people do that. Let us know in the comments. But I've done that. There's so many followers who they like, let us know in the comments what you think. And I've commented something, and then you never get a response. You never get a like. You never get a. It's just they're just doing that to make people feel like they're part of something when actually it's very empty. There was a content creator that I've recently connected to who's a Star Wars connect, and one of the things they says, I really want you guys. I want to get to know more people in the community. I really want to get to know more people in the community. I don't have any friends who are Star Wars friends, blah blah blah. And I thought, oh, this sounds quite cool, yeah. And they had some quite good content, so I put some stuff in the comments, and then a week or so went by, and I thought, strange. I haven't seen like a reply or anything to that. And I was scrolling through, and they had loads of replies, not replied to a single one. And I'm just thinking,
well,
I'm not saying people have got to do that. I'm not gatekeeping.
No,
you've got to reply to all your
comments.
comments.
Saying, you can't help those who can't help themselves.
Yeah, but don't say I want to engage with people and then don't engage with people. This is that's, if anything, you look more of a dick. So,
but
it frustrated me to high heaven.
I just want to give Ryan and Force Bricks a shout out as we're talking about to keep in with the chat. So yeah, hello. I think I gave the Suburban Stuntman a shout. If I didn't, hello, because he had a lovely comment earlier on. He said that I was a bit in the dark, but you could still see my lovely mug, as in face, I hope. Unless he meant that. Unless he meant my actual mug.
No, absolutely. Like I said, No, I think he's talking about this, probably, is he?
He's probably talking about this.
Oh, yeah, probably.
No, it was about me because I'm a little bit dark, aren't I? Because it's on the phone, so I can't really do a lot about it.
Yeah. No, I just looking at what Brickdad Build says, and it's like about sitting in a building. Like, this isn't one of those. It's not a build stream. I may do some building. Yesterday I did a little bit of a build challenge. I think maybe going into next week I will start having some actual content. I don't really want to deviate and do a different thumbnail every day, especially not for a YouTube for an hour. It's just too much work. So I'm going to try and use the same one so people can see the pattern, and that's the whole point of the consistency thing. But I may start putting at least in the description, today I'm going to be trying to build this set without looking at the instructions, or today I'm going to
what you said though, Martin. You prefer to interact with than just sit there like and not talking and just building. That's like, that can be boring. People like to have the interaction and stuff. I used to, when I
Well,
started going on ACOBs and that, and I'd write something, I loved it when it came up, my comment, it'd be like, yay, sort of thing. I mean, I'm used to it now, but yeah,
yeah,
people
well,
do like.
that's why it's tough. It's tough for me because I'm looking at these comments. I want to throw them up on the screen, but I can't. But at least if we're addressing them, I think it's something. But
Yeah,
no,
I've tried to press that's like the old on on StreamYard. Of course, no, it don't work on here. I can't put them up.
mm. Well, so Force Bricks is asking what set is this, and this set is the 7754 Mon Calamari Home Cruiser. You might have seen it from the thumbnail, not this one because obviously it ballsed up last minute, but the previous thumbnails. So this is day 4 of building, putting together one part for each new sub that I, excuse me, get on the channel. We started with 311. Last count we were up to 330, but since yesterday we've gained 6 extra subs on my last count. So at the end of the stream, basically what I do is I build up those pieces. So this is what we've got so far, which is part of the A wing. And yeah, just thought I'd commit some time and give back to the community. But no, I like what you're saying. Is right, and you know, I got nothing against any of the things that I've mentioned. I'm just trying to suggest why this channel I think is different, maybe not original, but slightly different. And again, what we talked about just now was about how I always think to myself. I remember speaking to the managing director of the company I currently work for, and he'd just taken over, and you just saw a huge change in the way the company was run within weeks. And he came down and did a visit to the store. And one of the things he took me to, and I just said to him, look, you know, talking a little bit about business and economics and things like that. And he was like, the one thing I always do, and I've pledged to do from day one and will always do, is that when somebody comes to me about a change or a new direction they're taking or something they want to implement, or whatever it might be at any level within the company, is because it's a national company, right? He says, how will it affect the staff? Tell me how it's going to affect the staff. And if they haven't really thought that out or got a kind of plan in place, he sends them away and says, come back to me when I want to see how that's going to affect the staff in terms of workload, time, whatever it might be. You know, so, and I think that's how I always have thought about this channel, at least since it, you know, got a foot on the ladder, which is how does it look and how can people not just enjoy it, because watching us having a laugh and talking about Lego is the main reason people come. Great. But again, we talked about keeping them engaged, keeping them locked in, but also, and I think we've done a good job of that because when I look at, again, we've talked about this a million times, when I look at the analytics for the show, the percentage of people who are watching the show to its fullness or watching large percentages of the show is very, very high, which is why we hit such a really good viewing hours target very, very early on in the show. But I always think to myself, how is that going to affect the people watching? How is that entertaining for them? It might be entertaining for us, but we've got to think about them as well. How can they, you know, and I talked about on a voice message earlier about if we're going to do a show about X and Y, which are the suggestions coming from you guys as co-hosts, how are we going to incorporate something for the viewers to get involved in that, whether it be answering a question, doing a poll, you know, submitting photos, sending us in their images, that kind of thing, you know, and I'm constantly trying to think about that stuff. And of course, when you're building a community like this or a sub community like this, that's always in the back of my mind is if I take it to this level, how is it going to work? You know what I mean? So, but it is good. Like I said, it's quite easy to just sit here and just build a set. I could have just said, right, once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to build this set. But I just think, what's in it for them? Like, you know what I mean? It needs to be something in it for them that they can just come along and have a little chill out for an hour and talk and whatever. So in this case, see me preach.
Fourth Bricks is just mentioned. Is that, oh sweet, that's the only set that comes in one Mothma, is that right? Because I wouldn't know, but
yeah, so it's the only set that's ever come with any version of Mon Mothma. I can't show the camera because it's too far away. If you look back at my previous streams, I did go through the figs on day 1 and day 3, I believe. It's the only set that's ever come with General Crix Maydeen, which he's from.
That was the first. That was the first Kenner figure from Return of the Jedi that I bought. That and the Biker Scout.
Yeah, and he's quite a, you know.
It came out before the film, and I was so excited.
He's only in a small scene, but
yeah,
it's quite a key scene, and I'm surprised they've
he's
never
an
redone
ex-Imperial, isn't he? If you look back in the, I'm sure the history, he's.
This is the only version of this Lando that they've ever.
Nice.
they've ever done. There was a slight variation to this one that came in an A-wing of him, but it's a different outfit. This Mon Calamari officer, it's never been, the headpiece has been reused loads of times, but the actual body piece, and this is an entire figure, has never been released anywhere else. And then this green A-wing pilot is the only time
Nice.
this has ever been released. So these are all of the 6 figs, 6 of them are exclusive, and even Admiral Akbar, or this version of Admiral Akbar, because obviously there's a version that came out in the Resistance with the Resistance. But this version of Admiral Akbar only came out in, I say 3 sets. I can't really say 3. It's actually 2. It's this. He was also in an A-wing, but he was also in a set that was given away at a convention. I want to say San Diego Comic-Con way back. Obviously, that wasn't for general release. So really, in terms of sets, people could buy this and another set. So even he's relatively exclusive. And like I said, not only are they exclusive, but 2 of those characters have never been released elsewhere. Well, 3 really, if you include that, because they've never had another Lieutenant.
A bit like
Mon
mindset
Calamari
then,
release.
really.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Nice couple of comments here as well. Like Force Bricks, what I like about your show is that it feels down to earth. He does say then can't really explain it, but there you go. And then Paddy's like Force Bricks said, not trying to be anything other than they are. That's what I like too. I can't be doing with anything that doesn't feel somewhat authentic. Yeah, we've always said we're just going to be who we are. And that's it. It's like,
Yeah,
hopefully if you lot meet me and Martin in real life and want a convention, that's what we are. Yeah.
great to
So
see
thank you
300
for the nice,
to see the sort
nice
of
things.
in prices. Yeah, no, some really good ones. In fact, there haven't been this many comments in the past because we haven't really had a lot of people on who are normally in the chat.
Must be me.
What's that? New people and a few trolls generally. So, but engagement found with no response is ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely. Quick way to drop subs. Like anyone watching Brickworld stream, we don't normally build on stream. A bit more of a variety show. Yeah, absolutely. Same here.
Yeah.
I haven't really managed to tune into the Brickworld streams because of the time they're on. It's like early hours in the morning for us, and on a Sunday night, which is even worse because I'm never off on a Monday. So no matter what happens, so comes in 1 month. Yeah. So yeah, look, we had a conversation about this earlier. Actually, I was chatting to somebody. Another person who does a show. I won't say who it was because it's not really relevant, but talked a little bit about how from day one, as well as all the things I've already mentioned, we just wanted to maintain some integrity. And I don't think it's a lack of integrity for people to tighten their way up or, be a bit more careful about how they talk and how they, I don't think there's anything I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think, if you put it on a show, just like news broadcasters, they're not going to go on there and be effing and blinding because they've got a responsibility to their audience. I get that. And obviously, we've toned ourselves down when we've had children on. We've toned ourselves down depending on the topic, if it's a serious topic, obviously. So we do, I think there's a balance there of kind of not so much toning yourself down, but adjusting yourself to the audience or to the content or, reading the room. But in general, when when we have a guest on, we're not going to be like effing and blinded and call each other this and that when we got a guest on, especially if it's somebody who isn't initially part of the community. So, but I think we've leaned into the idea of the show seemingly being a bit off the cuff and planned on the back of a fag packet, as I always say, because it's not. There's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of time that goes into it, particularly from myself.
It's organized chaos. That's what it is.
It is, but what I'm saying is I've never wanted it to. And I know this might seem like a bit of a contradiction because we're just talking about how it's not organized and we're trying to be ourselves, but then I'm potentially suggesting that we pretend that it's not organized when it is been a little bit. But we are still, I'd like to think people who agree who have met us, we are the same people on screen, and that's a throwaway line anyway. But when it comes to the stream, yes, there's a little bit of planning that goes into it, but not to the point where it's like, I want you to say this at this point. This needs to be done.
Yeah.
And the way it's developed into the show it is now, and I'm talking about our regular show for people who don't know what we're talking about, which is on a Sunday. It's turned into that slowly over time. It hasn't been like from day one. We've tried different things. We've but it's generally kind of just fallen into that kind of routine. And I was talking earlier about when we do the tier list, we're not the first people to come up with tier lists, and tier lists were invented by somebody who hasn't got a YouTube channel. So strictly speaking, there's no YouTube channel that's the first to do a tier list, but we made it our own. We didn't just follow the normal process.
Yeah, no.
I hate nothing more, especially when it comes to content, being derivative. And what that means is being like a version of something or a similar version or trying to copy things. I try to make it our own. So yes, we're using tier lists. We're not the first people to do it, but we're not going to do the same S. And I was saying it was like, why is it S? And then it's like I don't even know. It's an S and then R or something like that. I don't.
Yeah, no, it's usually S, B, C, D. They always miss E out and F. Where we change the names to the like super cool or whatever, ice cool, and then we change the colours around as well, so we have red at the bottom instead of at the top. So yeah, it's like we use things as a baseline, but we change things around. I mean, when we originally started the show, we used certain things from picking up things from other. I will be honest, and used as a baseline, but we've completely changed that now. And even when we do sections and stuff, we always go off on a tangent. We never stick to so.
Well, that's it, and even going back to that tier list thing, it's progressed over time, and people have warmed to it and connected with it, and we're like, right, we're not going to change that now. But other things we've tried have been like, that didn't go down too well. Nobody really cared about that. It wasn't a great. Kirsty was asking me the other day, whatever happened to Snack Wars? And I said, well, the Snack Wars was your idea for a start, and secondly, it was only reliant on you bringing me a different snack during the stream, which doesn't always happen. So, if you want to commit to something,
and not that I'm complaining, but what happened to Crop Talk?
Yeah,
it had its time. It had its time.
No, that's it. And like I said, there's lots going on behind the scenes.
I know.
There's lots going on behind the scenes, more than you guys probably know. I'm not going to try and pretend that we turn up every week and just see what happens. If the show has the title Free Balling on it, then generally that has happened because either I or the other guys have been too busy to put anything together. But we will still have a general underlying topic that we kind of follow. However, anything other than a free balling episode, and that's why we called it free balling. And I just came up with that, and it seems to work. Everybody likes it. Free balling, yeah, it's a laugh. Great, it sticks. But everything else, it is planned. It is organized. There is work gone into it, but not to the point where it's rehearsed. Now I don't tell the guys what they want to say, what they're going to do. It is still like this is the general planning. Most of the planning goes into what you guys see rather than what you hear. I'll spend time doing a thumbnail. I'll spend time creating a new background or a backdrop or some new music. That's the kind of work that goes into it. But all of those things become like a permanent thing, or most of them become permanent. But yeah, I don't want to keep gushing over the channel because it kind of defeats the object. But hopefully it's a walking talking advertisement for what you can expect. The problem is most of the people who are tuned in at the moment already know. So we're kind of preaching to the choir, really. But I just randomly saw people talking about Lego Star Wars like 5 months ago and decided to click on it. And here I am. Yeah, Narayan, it was great to have you on board and great that you're still sticking around. That's what we love. Like I said, I would take one Narayan, one Force Bricks, one Suburban Stuntman over 100 casual viewers or pop in, pop out, or give some abuse or never even look. I would take that any day of the week. And if that means our audience maxes out at 25 or 30, I'm happy with that.
And I've also heard that a few people said, like, and I think it came up on here as well, that they found us by accident, but then they've stayed. It's like, it's like cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of having kids on, have you heard from Keith at all? I have. Not only have I heard from him, but I bumped into him at Bricktastic. He messaged me. I reached out to him because I've got his actual phone number. I reached out to him prior to Bricktastic, and he basically said you may be like I was just chatting to him about what his reasons for leaving, whatever, or temporary leaving. I think he's kind of back a little bit now. At least his profile picture is back. But long story short, it's his business, his news to share. So I'm not gonna go into that. But what I will say is that he messaged me back to say, hey, you never know, you might be seeing me sooner than you think. And I just thought that meant he's going to be back in the community sooner than they think, which is quite a broad and ambiguous term anyway. It could mean It could mean I'll be back in 6 months rather than 6 years. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, great. And then he just rocks up to Bricktastic. So we saw him a couple of times while we were there. And yeah, he seems well. He's healthy. He's happy, and he's still alive. That's the most important thing. So that's as much as I can and will share.
I've noticed his son Brick Bear's been streaming it anyway recently. So
yeah. So sadly, since the show is on Sunday at 8 p.m. for me. Oh, so you're in Europe. I think I remember Force Bricks telling me this. Is he in Germany? Can't remember.
no.
It must be around about there somewhere. I do remember. Sorry, Force Bricks, for not remembering where everybody lives. I'm terrible at stuff like that, even if I actually know you in person. But yeah, it would be interesting to know where roughly you're from without going in. Don't tell us the town. But yeah, Germany. Right. See, I was kind of
Germany.
very organic, not canned on this channel. Yeah, absolutely. The Sunday show time always works great for my time zone, 11 a.m. I'm usually pushing around doing laundry and watching football or whatever. So Papa Rex would then be central. No. So if we start at 7, that's 2 p.m. at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is 1 p.m. Central, which is midday Mountain, which is 11
I reckon the US
Eastern.
West Coast, mate. I reckon the US West Coast.
Yeah, to be honest with you, as I was working it out in my head, it typed it just quicker.
I know, that's why I said it. I can see it. I can see it.
I've always found it harder to count backwards when it comes to things like that. So yeah, again, I remember Papa Rex telling us where he was from roughly, but I've forgotten.
I was trying to make out I was clever, but no, he writ it down. So
Guess it's fun to do a conversation
Lightning
without
Lord,
context.
good evening. Afternoon still, or yeah. Nice to see you.
Lightning Lord. Yo, Mikey. I remember Mike's from New York, upstate New York. Well, not upstate, but just North New York, I guess.
Was he one that first showed his face on our Cold Fusion? He might be.
Yeah, I think well, I don't know about showed his face because I think his Instagram account, I believe, has got his face on anyway. Whether it did at that point or not, I don't know. But it was the first time. And when I say popping the cherry, or you use the term popping the cherry, that's not necessarily like it's the first time anybody's seen what they physically look like, as much as it's their first time, live and in person.
Yeah, that's what I meant anyway. Yeah.
So I stretched that out to people.
He's put it. He's put cherry popped here. There you go.
There you go, mate. There you go. We just need to make a list really of all the people who it was. Because I count people who we know what they look like, but they've never shown their face live, if that makes sense. So even if they show their content, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but anyway, it is what it is. Let's do a check, shall we, on subs? Because we're over an hour. Not the most we've done is like an hour and a quarter, and I don't want us to turn into a long thing because we've got other things to do, but. We're still on only 330 subscribers, which isn't a surprise based on the fact that everybody in the chat now are regular people to the channel.
I'd subscribe if I could, mate.
Everybody else on every other day has been pretty much new, and we've had a lot of people pop in and out. So it's strange that hasn't happened today. Why is today different to every other day? Why have we not had new people wandering in? Have I done something different?
Yeah, that's probably my fault. It's like, oh, what's he doing on there?
I don't know, but I'm talking about them popping in at all, regardless of whether they say anything. Paddy the theatre dog is showed a face first time. Yeah, me too.
Nice pair of cherries there.
Yeah, the Sunday show starts at 5:30 a.m. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of Mayo stumbling on a conversation that you don't know the context about, it's just generally talking about YouTube in general. We started with, and we've migrated into just blowing smoke up our own asses about our show. The irony is that we spent the whole time talking about how our show is really how our show is different than other people, and we don't take ourselves too seriously.
No.
Spend probably 45 minutes talking about how great our show is. So,
Because I'll be honest, and I don't know if this is a bit of a selfish thing, but whether we have viewers or not, I'm still having fun from the day I started to the day I still do it. I'm still enjoying it and having a laugh
yeah,
and
and that
met
is key too.
new people. So it's nice.
That's key too. I think when we stop having fun, then it becomes a chore is the problem. And it's gotten more and more fun with time. But the fun comes from the content, what we're covering. The fun comes from the people I'm sharing the screen with, and the fun comes from the people who are watching and engaging, not just watching but engaging, and not in any particular order either, because I think it's a combination of all three. Um, all three of those things make a great channel anyway. That's what really
Yeah.
the three fundamentals. But for
Mm.
me, yeah, it's been that all the way through, and I do think about that as well. But I think about that less because I think you guys can be, are more self-sufficient now, and it's up to you to enjoy yourself or not enjoy yourself. That's not my responsibility, but it is mine and our responsibility to
Yeah,
make
but
sure
you
the
help,
viewers
mate.
enjoy
You
it.
do help.
Yeah.
You are a funny person. And I mean that in a nice way. Shout out to Coffee Black as well, 6138.
Nerd alert. Yes, nerd alert is
Yeah.
right. Lego and grown adults equals nerds. My best combination of things.
Yeah.
But Coffee Black 6138, please stay. But also while you're here, go and subscribe. If you like nerds, even if that was a trolling message, still we'd like you to subscribe because yesterday we had some guy pop in and I think he started off by trolling, but I ended up getting him to subscribe. And I can't remember exactly what he said. He was talking about eating Lego or something. But, like you said, I know I'm saying that I'm looking for kind of true people, but I also I think I can convert some people. So, yeah, because I had a couple of people pop in and make comments about the shape of my head, which I think is great because it seems to be an ongoing theme, which I kind of embrace because,
Well, I will say I noticed that I can actually see some hair growing because normally you have it
yeah,
like shaved complete, don't you? And I can see some
yeah,
patches.
no, absolutely, mate. It's because I'm off work and I got nobody
Yeah.
to impress, so I haven't bothered. But also because I don't know what this. I keep getting flakes of this biscuit thing that I was eating just appear in my mouth. So excuse me, people, if I cough every now and then. But yeah, I just haven't bothered to shave it or keep it up to date. I probably will on the weekend because it does start frustrating me. But I haven't brushed my beard or nothing, so I'm a bit of a mess. And that's another reason why people coming in to
What
the
you can
comments
say to your teeth then? Sorry.
and people coming into the comments and saying things about like the shape of my head and what I look like. It's like, guys, I'm fully aware that I've got the face for radio. I embrace it. Um, I have no concerns. And the thing is, it's not even offensive. If you said that to me when I was 10, 20, 30, then fair enough. But I'm at the point in my life where it's not even in the top 10 things that I'm thinking about when I, either go on stream or go out in public is my appearance. I probably care a little bit more about myself than I would like, if anything. But, I haven't got anybody to impress anymore. Um, I'm getting married this year, so she's already fallen for me. So there's no getting out now. But no, I just think it is though. It's an age thing, you get to the point where you're just like, you're a parent. You don't really care about,
Yeah.
how handsome or how good you look and all that kind of stuff. It's just like it's just
Well, as
not
a single
on the
man,
agenda.
maybe I still do a bit.
Yeah, you've got to a little bit because otherwise we'd all look like troglodytes. But what I'm saying
Yeah.
is that I think there is an element of just not caring, but not just not caring as in like you actually don't care about it, but not caring when people make comments about it. So when people say, "Oh my God, you look like a bag of shit," years ago that would have upset me. But I ain't
Thanks,
crying into
mate.
my pillow at night because I haven't got my face in the on TV or in the local magazine. Do you know what I mean? So take it or leave it. But it kind of just bounces off you after a while. I think because as soon as I became a father, I was just stopped being offended by almost any comment anybody can make. So I say that I've just talked about it for 10 minutes. So, but yeah,
No,
I've
not
seen it
at
in my subscriptions. But what do you mean by one piece for one subscriber? Oh, okay. So 7754 Mont Calamari Home One Starcruiser. Yes. one for every new sub we get, not subs in general, but every new subscriber we get, I'm putting together one piece of this 793 piece set. 793 being questionable because depending on where you look, the piece count is slightly different. Actually, it's different by about 30 pieces. So I'm not sure what that's all about. But yeah, so what I'm basically doing is I took a tally at the beginning. It got a little bit complicated at one point because we gained a load of subscribers and lost a few, but I was expected that, especially after. In fact, it was May who gave me this piece of advice: is that sometimes the more often you stream or the more often you put out content, you are obviously gaining people. There is 3 steps forward, but it can be 2 steps back because you're also reminding people that they don't want to subscribe to you, if that makes sense, because it's almost like saying. And my problem is that we gained, I'd say, about 100 subscribers in one hit, pretty much overnight, and that was because another content creator who I've met in person, who's got a huge following on Instagram, TikTok, all the rest of it, put a video out, and because I'd spoken to her about the YouTube channel just in passing, she promoted it. So everybody who follows her content, which is about being a mother and DIY and food hacks and all that kind of stuff, suddenly subscribed to me. And I knew that because I was looking at all these new subscribers, not a single one of them had Lego in their name or bricks in their name. So I was just like, right, these have all come across because she suggested it. And even though she did say it was a Lego, Matt's got a Lego YouTube channel, go and check him out on YouTube, and they all did because they pretty much, those kind of people are what I would class as influencers. We're not influencers because if I say to go and do something, people probably won't do it. If anything, I'm telling people not to do things, and I'm more happy that they don't. Like, don't go to Lego day one unless it's a good GWP. So don't pay the release prices, that kind of thing. But with her, she's that type of influencer where she says, go and do this, and they go and do it because they're like sheep, basically. And they did. So we had a load of subscribers, and then within, a couple of weeks, they all started dropping off because they're like, hang about, I don't want to watch videos about Lego. When's he showing us when he got a good deal on a new bedding set? Do you know what I mean? And that ain't going to happen. So they just, so of course, now all of us, and when they're getting one either notification or seeing on YouTube once a week that we're doing a show, it's one thing. But when you start to put everything out every day, all of a sudden, these mothers who are only interested in buying the latest knitting pattern are seeing this pop up and go, what the hell am I subscribed to this? And subscribe. So I've seen that, and I knew there was going to be a little bit of that at the beginning. So we actually lost six subscribers, but really, I shouldn't really have taken them off the total because if there's 6 subscribers that were already in the 311, then I shouldn't take that off, which means we've had more subscribers. If that makes sense. So at the moment it's 19, or actually it's 25 new subscribers. But it's difficult to measure that figure because I'm not going to go up, down, and I don't really want to keep taking parts off. So although initially I did take 6 pieces off, we gained a few back. So I took some pieces off, I put them all back on, and I shouldn't have done that really, but it is what it is. I'm not going to go back and do it now. So essentially, at the end of each stream, I count up what we had compared to what we had at the end of the stream the day before. So yesterday was 324 when I closed. Whatever we've got at the end of the stream on top of 324 becomes the amount of pieces we add on at the end of the stream. Simple as that. And there's going to be times in the future, especially when I go back to work, where I'll go live and I'll say, hey guys, how are you all doing? We had 200 people subscribers yesterday, but since yesterday we've had 2 more subscribers. I'm putting 2 pieces on. Thanks everybody. Bye. It could be that, like a minute. So I'm not promising any specific amount of time when it comes to streaming. All I've said is I'm going to stream every day until we hit 1K. See how it goes.
Right. I was going to say, yeah, because it's been over an hour now. I'm going to probably pop off. Also, my phone's just told me I've got 15% left on it. So again, thanks for the invite. Nice to meet everyone in the chat as usual. And I don't know. I've never been on here, mate. I don't want to do what I've done before. So if there's possibly that you could actually kick me because I don't want to end the.
Even if
I've got an hour, and that's it. So I don't know whether to press that or not.
Even if there is, I can't do it anyway because my phone's way over there. So, so I would just close YouTube. I mean, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's created this, so it shouldn't matter. But thanks for coming on because obviously great. It's been nice to have someone to bounce off. Apologies, I've probably been more over power in than I normally am, because obviously I've been used to doing this on my Todd.
No,
But
exactly the same, mate.
But also, this is a new learning for me. I thought when you set up an extra person on YouTube, you had to know who that person is. It just gives you a link, just like in StreamYard. So if I'd never given it to you, it wouldn't have changed anything. But I've got it there available to send out to people. The only problem is because I'm using my phone to do it. If somebody had come in the chat now and said, "I'll join," I couldn't do it. So
Yeah. All right. Right. Well, take care, everyone. And I'll see you on Sunday. All right. Here we go. Ta-da.
right, everybody's buggering off.
You'll be moved immediately. Yeah, there you go.
Everybody's buggering off. So I appreciate all of you guys for coming in, tuning in, and checking this out. I'm going to close this very soon because I've got things to do before Kirsty gets home. And I've told her I'm going to be available. She likes to call when she's finished work to chat to me about her entire day. And the reason she does that when she's walking home is it gets her home without sort of thinking about the travel, but also she updates me with everything. So when we get in, we can just focus on non-work stuff and just become enjoy our evening without the aggression and frustrations of whatever goes on. I personally just like to vent it in my travel home, whether I'm cycling or walking or getting a bus. I forget about it by the time I've got home. But Kirsty likes to talk it out, which is great because it means I get to know what's going on, and then we haven't got to stain the house with negative, depending on what happened that day. Mostly negative because it's work, right? But yeah, I know that game, lol. So yeah, so I try to be available. She finishes at 6 o'clock, so I'm gonna shoot off soon. But what I will do now before I go is we will do an update and see. Like I said, not seen a lot of new people in the chat tonight, at least not people who weren't just coming in to make a trolling comment, but we are up to 330 subscribers. Let me just refresh that because yesterday I didn't refresh it and then realized there was a few more. No, still around 330. So that's fine. Still happy with that because that is 6 up from yesterday. So I'm going to mark it now. And if we have any more, I'll obviously add it to tomorrow's total. So we're now on 330, which means 6 pieces to add on. And this time I left the build instructions up, so I'm going to upload them again. So net 6 more pieces. So you get to actually, you've come to a Lego channel. You actually, for the last 2 minutes, you get to see me actually build something. So where are we currently with instructions? So we're adding 6 more pieces. So we got to add on this green slope piece. I will say, in case you weren't in on any of the streams, the render on these older instructions. I mean, this is only 2009. It's not even that old really, but the renders on these hadn't improved by a lot. They'd started using white or lighter color backgrounds, so they pop a little bit, whereas the earlier ones want like brown and sometimes black backgrounds. So that was a nightmare. But the digital and the paper version were pretty much exactly the same. Like the render I'm looking at, the green looks like normal green, even though it's actually a dark green, and the black looks like gray or maybe even dark green. So it's really confusing, especially when you got dark green in the same set. So we got one of these slope pieces going on, which is going to go on here. We have got, can you actually see that? We can't even see it. No, it's way too far behind. So I'll just hold it up every time we put a piece on. So that's one piece. And then we got the 2 engine pieces. These 2 engine pieces, these bulkhead engine pieces, and they have a the older trans yellow or trans neon yellow added to the end. So that's 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And they go on the edges there. Whoops, I've gone the right way. Yes. So the engine sticking out the back. Oh, there's one. That's why. That's annoying. So I went to put this on and realized there's a slope piece already attached. And if you were watching yesterday, I did mention that when I bought this set, I bought it pre-loved. The first thing I always do is go through the inventory and check everything. Now I know I did that at some point since owning it, and like I said, I've had this set for about 5 or 6 years. Almost said 6, 7, but when I opened the set, within the larger bag, there was a smaller bag with a little piece of paper saying Home 1 and one of these green slope bricks inside it, which meant that I've obviously done an inventory, realized that that part is missing, ordered it off Bricklink, put it in that little baggie, and put that in the bag. And because it was the only thing in there, that also tells me, because I wouldn't have done that until it was complete, that also tells me that was the only piece missing when I did an inventory check. However, because I wasn't 100% convinced, yesterday or after yesterday's, sorry, after the second day stream, whatever day that is, Tuesday, Wednesday, I did an inventory check again, and actually turned out I was missing one of these kind of bar pieces. What do you call them? Like at this point in Lego Star Wars, they were used as a kind of the back of a chair, essentially, or the back of a seat. The brown pieces, there was actually supposed to be 2 of those, and I only had 1. I've got a tendency when I'm doing checking off a Bricklink wanted list. Actually, it can be the back of a chair because there's actual full chairs in this. But anyway, when I'm checking off a Bricklink wanted list or passing out, or doing an inventory check on a Bricklink list, I have got a tendency when something is 2 to tick it off as complete, and I've only put 1 in. I do that all the time because I end up with it. I usually end up with all the pieces still, but I've got 1 of everything left. And then when I look at the inventory and look in the bag, I just did it wrong. I don't know why. But anyway, so there was actually one of these pieces missing. So I am like, if I can't find this in my spares, I am going to have to try and reorder this before it needs to go on the set, or at least the second one needs to go on the set. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Well, now, as I was about to put that piece on, I realized there was already a green slope piece attached underneath. So when I've done the inventory, I haven't thought to check if it wasn't already attached to something, which it was. So now I've got an extra one of these green pieces. Short story long. So anyway, that's 5 pieces. We've got to put 6 on, so I'm going to put 1 more on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Oh, that's a bit annoying. So it's just a 1x2 plate, grey plate, and only on one side. This is what I liked about these type of sets, is they did, if something was what do you call it when on one side mirrors the other? I can't remember, but nowadays you do that and they'll get you to build each side separately or in stages, whereas back then they used to be like 2 of these, put them on both sides, and that annoys me. I prefer this way, but it annoys me now when it's like add these for 6 pieces to this side and then do the same on the other side, but it's another 3 pages of basically the same thing, whereas they could have just said this engine piece, put it on both sides. It's just, I just feel like, when it comes to like the Lego instructions, I appreciate they're not going to go back to the 80s where it was like, we've just added 50 pieces, guess where they are. But I think there was a point where it was fine, and now they've made it too easy, where it's like an entire A4 page or A5 page. It's got 1 piece to put on, and it even kind of shows you where exactly it goes, and it seems a bit too Fisher Price for me. And also a huge waste of paper. I feel like if they stopped doing that, they would save the planet just by the amount of paper they were printing. So having an instruction booklet for 30 parts be 80 pages long. There we go. So that's where we're up to. This is where we're up to. We've obviously made a marked improvement thanks to those large engine pieces. We've got this 1 grey piece here. So I'm guessing the other side's going to have something different, because I can't see why they've added it there. Because the next stage adds 2 more slope pieces and it says to add them either side. So why they would do one not the other, I don't know. So that'd be interesting to work out. But that's where we're up to, guys. And that's where we're going to stop it. Regardless, I am going to check again, because last time we did this, we had a bunch come in. But yeah, 3:30. That's today's build. Appreciate you guys. Just going to quickly say hello to everybody. Is General Reekin in this set? No, General Crix Maydean is in this set. And then there's a Mon Calamari officer. So no, I'm trying to think who General Reekin is. I have to green light. Oh, I've missed a few actually. Jesus. Okay. How long was I talking? Just trying my eyes. The Outlaw Forest Den was really bad with colours and on that. Yeah. Some of the instruction booklets I've got. I mean, at one point, when it was Legoland, which was obviously Lego City, Space, and Pirates and everything else, it was always on yellow, and it just seemed to be easy to see. But now they at this point they were doing it on like light blue and grey, and like I said, at one point the Star Wars sets, for the first couple of waves of sets, came out with black paper in the background to try and make it look like it was floating in space, but the pieces just printing just wasn't good enough to match the quality of the pick color. Messed up so many green, light green, yeah, absolutely. Yes, lightning, the green and light low forages was the worst. I couldn't tell the difference on a PDF, yeah. And sometimes on Rebrickable it can be worse as well. Slightly. You do something in the future to make this easy to see. My new rule is if the foliage falls off, it stays off. Ha! Yeah, I like that. The kids' instruction books are awful. The city taxi. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These days they've made it too complicated. Paddy's saying, "See you later." Thanks, Paddy. They understand that people are dumber now than 20 years ago. Yeah, and I think there's an element, and I've said this all the time. It's like it's not really to do with Lego as such as just a general thing. It's the more they dumb society down, the more I think I wouldn't say I'm really into conspiracy theories. I just feel like I've got a lot of my own, where it's like the world has gotten to the point where it's like, oh my God, if we keep advancing like this, um, you know, we're not going to be able to sort of keep up. So we need to kind of, so yeah, just little things like this where capitalism is kind of pushing us to being kind of spoon fed so much that we can rely on it. And I think it does work because there's a generation of, or a couple of generations of people coming through now where they rely on things so heavily. Like I've talked a little bit about how I used to build Lego, and some people are just like blown away by it. And not even to the point where they can't believe it. Like when I say that my parents tell me that they used to, for a pound, they used to be able to get like 20 Mars bars or whatever like that. Because that's just, inflation. And they probably had the same thing with their parents and vice versa. And it just keeps going on. And even now, I'm at the age where I can say, well, for this amount of money, I used to be able to, and we haven't even changed currency like our parents did. So it's like, whereas, so that's one thing that I can understand if it's like there's a cultural difference or a value difference or whatever, because you're always going to have that where people are comparing past to future or past to present. But I'm talking about like people are actually like offended, not offended, but like genuinely like it makes their skin crawl to think that someone's gonna um, do something that's more complicated than what they do. That someone's gonna just dump all the bags of pieces out. And the only reason it offends them is because they're used to a certain way of doing things. And in most cases, it'll be because it's an easier way of doing things. So the idea of to do something that's more complicated, even when it comes to something fun that's a hobby, to them, it's like it blows them away. But they've been educated and they've been engineered to think that way. That isn't the way they think because if they, most things in life, especially when it comes to things like fun things and hobbies, the more complicated and the more challenging, the better. But, I've heard people talk about Lego sets as they're too complicated, they're too hard for me. And I'm like, you even got to watch. I was watching Stud City's street content where he was on a plane building Lego sets or something. And one of the women that was passing, one of the air hostesses, was like, "Oh no, it's too complicated for me." That's an age-old belief, but people still connect that. They still think like Lego is too complicated for some people, or like I do cross stitch, and I explain to people and show people, and I can see that they're like, wow, it's way too complicated. I would never be able to do something like that. And I think all of us can say that about someone else's hobby. But that is like a good thing to the person who's doing it because the idea is it's not supposed to be easy, otherwise, it's not fun. But I feel like Lego's like one of the only hobbies I can think of that they've made it as simple as possible over time rather than I don't want them to make it harder, but keep it challenging because it's supposed to be. It's like if buying an Airfix model, right? You have to get all the little pieces off and you have to. If they started selling Airfix models now, which were already half made for you, people would be like, what the hell is this? Well, the whole point of it is you're supposed to put it together. And that's how I've seen from my generation. And again, there are probably older people in the chat like Ken, but might not have had Lego or built Lego as a kid. And I know I've spoken to Martin about this stuff. He's closer to my age, but he didn't have Lego as a youngster and a teenager. So therefore, he hasn't seen that comparison. Whereas I've been involved with it at many different stages. As a baby, as a toddler, as a a teenager, a young teenager, as an adult when the Star Wars Lego first came out, and then obviously, for the last 7 or 8 years where I've been back into it. Of course, more than that, 2015, 11 years. So, there is a little bit of that. You can see it, and when they're making it to the point where it's just simpler, and then the newer generation are seeing the older way of doing things, and like, oh, I don't want my hobby, my building to be difficult. I want it to be easy. That's just crazy to me. I see that, and I'm just thinking, the more Fisher Price something gets, the I don't know. I just that this is why I'm not as offended by when they're making sets smaller, but they're more complex or they're more detailed. I get that. That makes sense to me because I think they should be doing that. But when the instruction booklets are like, you now need to put this one piece here, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like we're being spoon fed too much. And like I said, that engineer has to be them, which I guess Ken probably said better in 3 words than I said in 30 sentences. Uh, but yeah, I said I was going to sign off, and I haven't. So for the city taxi, yeah. So I lost everybody when I started talking about conspiracy theories and big companies dumbing down society. But I still think it's true for anybody tuning in after the fact and for the people who are left watching. But this is us done, guys. Appreciate your time. Come and tune in tomorrow. Not sure what time it'll be tomorrow because I've got the day off with Kirsty, but it'll probably be late in the evening. So see you guys then, and hopefully add some more pieces to the set. I can actually go all the way over there now and switch this off. Can't just press an end stream button. Like how it's been made so easy for me to do it on StreamYard.